Hello, we are going to talk about Nelson Mandela, the peaceful leader. The question is, who are we? So my name is Dafran Safia and my matric number is ES03716.
Okay, my name is Qian Yilin. My matric number is 213281.
Hi, my name is Nurul Aisha binti Roslan. My matric number is 204090.
Hello everyone, my name is Siti Nohatina binti Darmanchan. My matric number 202519.
Hello, my name is Xu Lai. My matric number is 213285.
So now let's talk about who was Nelson Mandela. So Rolihlahla was born in 1918 and died in 2013 after a life of struggle. So his name was changed by his teacher in school and he was called after Nelson. So he was a South African politician, philanthropist, and social activist. Mandela will serve as an inspiration to civil rights advocates around the world for centuries to come. He never stopped fighting. We're going to talk about education. So Chief Jongding Taba Daling Dibo adopted him and gave him another level of life. Mandela attended the Clarkbury Boarding Institute, then Westlake College. Then Mandela enrolled at the University of Fort Hare, which at the time was South Africa only residential institute of higher learning for Black people. Then we're going to talk about the politics, awakening in politics. He started in politics when he had been elected to the Student Representative Councils in his second year of Fort Hare, so SRC. He moved in Johannesburg and there he joins the African National Congress. Mandela became actively involved in the anti-apartheid movement. Mandela organized a 3-day nationwide worker strike. The next year, he was arrested for spearheading the strike and condemned for 5 years in prison. Mandela was tried for the second time and was sentenced for life in prison for political crimes, including sabotage this time. De Klerk and Mandela. Mandela negotiating with President de Klerk after his release from jail to hold the country's first multiracial election. Mandela became the president of the African National Congress, then shared the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 for their contribution to the end of apartheid in South Africa. Negotiations between Black and white South Africans were successful, thanks in no small part to Mandela and de Klerk's efforts. South Africa held its first democratic election on April 27, 1994. Mandela signed a new constitution for the country in 1996, establishing a strong central government based on majority rule and safeguarding both minority rights and freedom of expression. Even after his retirement with his wife, Greta Mitchell, they co-founded the Elders. Its influence had spanned Asia, Middle East, and Africa, and their acts have included promoted peace and women's equality, calling for stop to atrocities, and supporting humanitarian and democratic initiatives. You're on mute.
Yes. Nelson Mandela makes many contributions to human rights and human life. So the first is about ICANN. Can you change? Yes, the icon of democracy and social justice, from establishing the first Black law firm in South Africa to forming the African National Congress, use legal and even refusing a pardon due to continued injustice, Nelson Mandela is regarded as an icon of democracy and social justice. Next. Next, we will talk about the Nobel Prize. He was the recipient of more than 250 honors, including the Nobel Peace Prize. He won the Nobel Peace Prize for Peace in 1993, along with South Africa's president at the time, for having led the transition from a parasite to a multi-racial democracy. Mandela is also known for being the first Black president of South Africa, serving from 1994 to 1999. The action brings peace to a racially divided country and leads the fight for human rights around the world. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Okay, next. The last one I want to share with us is the changes that he brought to the world. It's about 5 changes in the world. The first is taught the world to never give up on a cause or country. And number 2 is made the struggles of his nation a worldwide phenomenon. Next is set an example of dedication, sacrifice, and courage. Number 4 is set up Nelson Mandela Foundation to keep up work on justice and peace. The last one is contributed to the fight against HIV or AIDS. Okay, that's all.
Okay, the challenges and struggle faced by Nelson Mandela in achieving his goal. Nelson Mandela quotes, "The struggle is my life. I will continue fighting for freedom until the end of my day." So as we know, Nelson Mandela faced many challenges throughout his life. But the main problem was trying to get his voice heard. He was living in a very racist society and it was difficult for him to get his equal right movement heard. So Mandela protests end up with him being imprisoned for many years, which was very challenging for him, as he was only trying to improve racial equality in the society around him. Okay, next. So racial discrimination. Brave and courageous Mandela took a stand to a personal issue, which is he admired for to his day. So the struggle for freedom at Nelson Mandela and the movement that formed around him, Mandela fight against apartheid, a system of white supremacy of South Africa. Restrictive laws governed every aspect of people's life, dictating where they could live, work, and travel, restricting their access to education, healthcare, and other social services. Mandela rose up against apartheid and called even all South Africa to join him. Okay, next. Because of the jail time, although he was arrested and imprisoned for 27 years for fighting for freedom, so Mandela refused to give up the struggle. Mandela was fighting against apartheid, but he was also fighting for something a better world in which the freedom, justice, and dignity of all were respected. So through those negotiations, bloody civil war, and last but not least, experienced the bittersweet joy of his release after 27 long years of imprisonment. Finally witnessed South Africa first democratic election and find out about Mandela's effort to rebuild a nation shattered racism and injustice. Okay, next.
Critically but objectively review the method that Mandela used to achieve his goal. Next. The first one is from the beginning, Mandela knew that a single person could be a catalyst for change. He wasn't afraid to be that catalyst. Mandela formed and joined many organizations and alliances during his lifetime and continued to be a symbol of the power that one individual has to make a difference. Second, he refused to give up on his cause in his country. Mandela was first arrested on treason charges just 4 years after starting South Africa's first black law firm and working with other calling for a non-racial state in the country. He would later be of these charges, only to be arrested yet again in 1962 for his work as a leader within the African National Congress. Next. Mandela set an example of dedication, courage, and sacrifice for all. In 1985, the government offered to release Mandela under the condition that he would not engage in political activity on free. Nelson refused and he said, I cannot and will not give any undertaking at a time when I and you and the people are not free. He said also, your freedom and mine cannot be spread. Okay, next. He knew that his struggle was his people and his people's struggle was his. But Mandela opened that struggle and his message of justice to the world. Okay, in the mid-1980, the world slowly awake to the suffering of South Africa under apartheid rules. And while Mandela suffered behind bars, his message has never been louder. As anti-apartheid release grew, so the awareness of Mandela's struggle for freedom for Black South Africa. Next. And the last one is Mandela channel his childhood lesson of Ubuntu and give those value to the world. At its core, there was Nelson Mandela mission and its story goes back all the way to his day as a child in the small Africa village. Ubuntu is the exposa idea that there is oneness to all people, an impenetrable tie that bind all to one another. According to Mandela, Ubuntu is the profound sense that we are human only through that humanity of others. Next.
So I will identify 3 topics from our textbook and discuss how these topics are related to this leader. So the first one is leadership. The leadership Mandela unleashed dreams for his people with outstanding leadership style. This style of leadership made his dreams come true. So how did he do it? He embraced ethics and the first Black president of South Africa. Mandela demonstrated strong moral value in leading his people. He constantly guided people to stay focused and remain serious and to avoid all violence. In the struggle against apartheid, he established an anti-Latin style of leadership. For he used the moral and the values to continue the struggle. Then he was described as a freedom fighter and a hero because he's preserved. Until he became head of state, his quality of responsibility and morality towards his followers were embraced through his honesty. The next one is communication. For the communication, he possessed highly effective communication skill. Faced with arguments, challenges, and defenses, Mandela anticipated his point and effectively communicated his response based on the issue raised. The communication was the key to his leadership success. enabling him to effectively coordinate with his followers and explain to them the plan for a better country. So the last one is influence. For the influence, in 2009, the United Nations declared 18 July as Nelson Mandela International Day. The day celebrates and commemorates his impact on South Africa. He was the first Black head of state in South Africa and the first head of state to be elected in a fully representative democratic election. His government focused on eradicating the legacy of empire by addressing institutionalist racism and promoting racial reconciliation. Okay, that's all for me.
Okay, the last question is, what is the best takeaway from MGM3113 for our future? From my reflection in this course, strong decision making helps solve problem directly and create a leadership position for the decision maker. Problem solving skills are both important because they can help you to navigate a variety of situations that might come up at work. They complement one another and can be used to resolve many of the same issues. Both problem solving and decision making involve critical thinking. I think this is the best takeaway from this course that I will bring to my future. How about you, Aisha?
Okay, Lina, thank you. My reflection on MGM organization behavior, which is characterized by a great work ethic and high quality ethical culture. It is an important asset to the success of organization and countries. In other words, integrity and ethic in work and non-organization are merely the involvement of the individual self to provide for their own needs, and all this is closely related to religious teaching and responsibility as a human. What about this?
So for me, this course has given me a comprehensive and in-depth understanding of what organizational behavior is and the specific method and the measures we need to master to maintain positive behavior and change negative behavior, and it can improve management and leadership skills. It can make me to successfully achieve desired organization goals, increase the certification of individual member of the organization, and improve organizational performance. So what about other?
My reflection is that effective communication can help solving conflicts because communication is a two-way affair. So when you know exactly what the other person wants to express, and you can understand how the other person think through the other person's expression. In this way, you will know the background of the whole things, and it will be more convenient for you to communicate with he or her. And in a sense, I think it is conducive to avoiding conflicts. Okay, that's all for me.
So
What about you?
for finishing, I'm going to take in life the concept of negotiation. Negotiation is part of everyday life. It is present everywhere in family life as well as in professional life. It's also at the heart of the political and diplomatic sphere at national and international level. So a multitude of interests are considered in order to reach a mutually satisfactory agreement. This type of interest-based negotiation is a more collaborative, problem-solving approach. This is what I am now trying to apply in my life, and even more so in my professional life. In France, we often use the expression nothing ventured, nothing gained, but it's not really true. I think it's more a question of the quality of negotiation. Thank you so much.